This is the WatchGeekTime podcast.
Yeah, and he said, "This is really cool. Now let's talk about how do I get
and
one."
You guys made a deal in the men's room.
No, we finalized
For
the deal,
PSA.
actually. We finalized the deal several days later. I was actually, for whatever reason, I can't remember why. I know exactly where I was. I was on Rodeo Drive, crossing the street.
Right.
I had no idea what we were doing, and he tells me the price, and it's like, okay. It's like, and it was like, okay, I think I even read in my credit card number.
Wow. So you knew you had to have it.
Yeah.
Can you just...
And it wasn't.
It wasn't that piece.
It was another Piccadilly.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
38 millimeter.
What were some of the things that jumped out to you about the watch first and foremost? Do you remember?
Yeah, the first was Peter.
Peter is very nice man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy. He's a character. He's
Yeah.
really funny. It was just a joy to talk with him. And he's a down-to-earth guy. He's a Brit, you know. In honor of my friend to my right, but also just the way he spoke about what his goals were for his watches. That, yeah, they are off-the-shelf movements, they're ETA movements, but we take them all apart. We give them some gusto, so these things can take a beating and keep on ticking. And it was just, so from the technical standpoint, and then on the outside of the watch was this beautiful guilloche dial, which were all hand done and all unique in and of themselves.
Right.
And it was a one-of-one. Now, I don't have that watch anymore for reasons Tim and I could go on to forever about discussing, but that led to this watch.
Yeah, and this is.
Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so this is it's actually a piece unique. It's the Marin 3 prototype. So as Peter developed his business, and as many of these watchmakers, and we talked about this before, their goal is to make their own movement from scratch. Pretty much all the guys that I've been working with. But that comes at a massive financial investment, and he didn't have that, and he didn't have any backers. So his way of getting to that point was to use, as Mitch says, the ETA 2824 base movement, and then he improved it, changed the automatic winding bridge, et cetera, made beautiful cases, dials, and was able to build up his business to the point where he did develop his own movement from scratch, which was called the SM Speak Marin 1 movement caliber. And on that watch, the SM, the Marin 1 was the first model, and it was a titanium case, beautiful automatic movement. In fact, John and Stephen McGonigal, the first year Peter showed it, they were just blown away by it and said, this is a real watchmaker's movement. So that movement then became the Marin 2. That next model was a manual wind version of that. Beautiful case.
Was it based on an ETA?
No.
This is his own.
This is his 100%.
Okay.
There was nothing in that movement that was anywhere else.
Okay.
The Marin 3 was the next version of using that movement, that base in-house caliber, with an interesting complication that this watch features. But in developing the complication prior to putting into series, very often watchmakers will use a standard movement, if you will, or a base movement to make sure that the complication works the way they want it to. And that's what this watch is.
Oh, okay.
And I was shown this watch in Basel many moons ago. Again, this is probably 2005, 6, 7, I guess, somewhere in that region.
Somewhere in there.
And I looked at, Peter showed it to me and says, yeah, this is a prototype. And I just was blown away by what it is. It is a remarkable piece. It's a jump hour. and it's a regulator. So get the light. So you got the hours at the top, and the minutes obviously down there, 35, and but you know.
And the chapter dial at the top jumps every hour.
Yeah.
And
you
the
can,
whole,
and you can go forward and backwards, and there's a series of cams. Again, that light.
it'll go forward and backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which is very rare.
Again, it's a back to gearing problem.
Right.
When something
Right.
already made its jump, it's a
Mhm.
spring and it can't really reset. So
Right. So this, and the other cool thing about this, so it also has this little gold
yeah, what is that?
right here. So this is an indicator right here
Yeah.
that the hour hand is, if it's red, right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing it's red.
Mhm.
So it's red right now. So that tells you that we're closer to 1 o'clock than 12 because it jumps on. So you know you could look at this. And,
Ah, gotcha. So it's not, because it's not creeping,
no,
it just
It
gives
jumps.
you.
It jumps.
So as soon as it gets to the half-hour marker, that indicator 3 pops red. Is that
More or
correct?
less. This was done by a watchmaker by the name of Stephen McDonough. He's the one that actually developed the jump hour complication. The
yeah,
module.
Peter had an idea, and
For this watch.
Right.
yeah, and
It's not some,
Yeah.
you know, what is it, there's a Dupree
No, no,
module.
No, 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 no.
No,
This is all done by Stephen McDonough.
Yeah.
And unlike any typical prototype, this thing is absolutely finished to the T.
Sure it is.
And
Yeah.
anyway, when I met Stephen, he said, that red dot, the reason that red dot is there is because when the minute hand is pointing to the 12, is it before 12 or is it after the 12? It's for that minute, those few seconds before the hour and after the hour, it's there. So if it's showing red, it's before the next hour. If it's white, it's after the next hour. So for him, he's so anal about it. Whatever. I say that with absolute respect, but he is so fixed on that, telling the correct time
Yeah.
that red dot tells you it's before the hour, not after the hour.
yeah.
And then, so I was fascinated by it, and I said, well, that must be, when it's,
Yeah.
that red stuff must be really, really, important stuff. I mean, watchmaker red, whatever. I had no idea.
That's what I'm trying to
Later-
figure out.
Enamel or what?
Yeah.
Right.
I said, what is that red?
So that's what I'm trying, I mean, the whatever he's doing in the red piece here,
Yeah.
just by it being there tells me we're getting closer to 1 than we
Right,
are to 12.
right, exactly.
I want to know what activates this little red guy. Where did he decide that red guy should get activated from
Well,
white to red?
It's underneath.
Yeah, there's cams.
But what time did he decide? Where's the regulator hand?
Well, you can flip it and see.
You can?
Yeah, sure.
So the regulator is
Just by moving the hand.
So we're gonna go.
Right, it's a 35.
It really doesn't go backwards,
Oh, okay.
that part. Okay, so there. See, now it's white.
So it's
All right,
white.
Keep
So
going.
keep going. I never looked at when it, so,
Around 30,
Yeah.
36.
Now, so, you know what that red is? His wife's fingernail polish.
I was gonna say, it's gotta be something enamel, and I bet it's fingernail.
It's his wife's fingernail
So
polish.
So there's just a little thing behind that window there. You can't go backwards with that indicator.
With the indicator, no.
No, but the hours and minutes
Yeah.
can go backwards,
Yeah,
and then it'll reset.
it'll catch
itself.
up itself.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's just a disc that's turning back
Yeah.
and forth. That is fucking A cool right there, my friends.
So yeah, Stephen McDonald. I mean, he's an ingenious constructor, absolute genius in the watch world. Peter conceptually came up with the idea and went to Stephen and said, "Look, I'm running my business. This is my next watch I'd like to do. Can you help me with this?" And Stephen's like, "Sure." What's really trick about this, as Mitch mentioned, is it's beautifully finished, which makes sense if you know Stephen. Sort of perfectionist, if you will. But also, he did this all without CNC. This is all done on traditional watchmaking lathes and mills.
Whoa.
Right.
And he did all the decorating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he cut out all these pieces from the steel and, made them, polished them, anglage, bevels, all the. I mean, it's remarkable.
exquisite, and it's what I've always found interesting, Tim, is how seriously finishing the Brits do take things. They do take it to a Swiss level, and sometimes past. I've seen.
Yeah.
You and I have looked at some Roger Smith watches. The 35th anniversary watch is finished in a way that if you didn't see the name on the dial, you'd say, "Wow, that's Swiss."
I'm not sure I agree with, because they have a different way of finishing.
It's a
If you look
different
at
I'm just talking about the level. I'm not
the level,
saying
yeah.
the actual decorations, but just the absolute attention to detail in that regard, I find to be they're on par with each other. Absolutely on par.
Should we go to this one next?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just sort of directing slightly here.
Good. Here, let me get us over there. Well, this is obviously magnificence at a whole other level.
This ties in with the previous watch as well, because, as you know, maybe I'm just tooting my own horn here, which I get to do occasionally.
You do it on the show all the time. I don't know what fucking stopped you.
All right. Well, so when I was in Basel World, Mitch and I would be in contact because he's sitting in California working his backside off.
Yeah, I actually, when you contacted me about the Speak Marin, I was in my backyard. I still remember it. I was sitting in the backyard. I had come home from work, and I knew he was in Basel, and he calls me and said, "I got a watch for you." It's like, really? And he sends me the picture, and it's like, done. Okay.
When are you a little more hesitant?
It's hard to buy art.
I know, right? And
picture.
I gave you the price, and you're like, "What? What happens if I don't like it?" I said, "You're gonna like it. Just trust me on this."
Yeah.
And then that was our first one of those deals where it was essentially you trusted me, you bought this watch sight unseen, because I had to commit to it in Basel. I had 24 hours to commit with.
Was it the year that Romain came out with this piece?
No, we're talking about
the Speak Marin.
Speak Marin.
Oh, I'm confused.
Because the Speak Marin, sorry.
Okay.
So the Speak Marin was the first one, and it was a unique piece.
Okay.
And if I didn't take it from one of my clients, in this case Mitch, the Vietnamese distributor was gonna buy it. So I was like, Mitch, if you pass on it, you'll never see it again.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, nobody would probably ever have seen it, because who knows where it would have gone. The second watch, the watch we're now looking at, was a second one I think we did where I was in Basel. Roman showed the logical one publicly for the first time, and I was blown away. And again, I was on the phone texting Mitch saying, "Mitch, I can get you one. There's only going to be 20. They're going to sell. He's going to sell every 20 of the platinums, every 20 of the red golds here in Basel. I think you should take a look at this." And here it is. And this is the platinum logical one, the initial limited edition of 20 pieces, and just white enamel dial. It's still, again, we've talked about this, you and I, Scott. This watch, this model, still ranks in the top 3 watches of all time for me.
It is so magnificent that I sat next to Kari Voutilainen and watched a tear come to his eye. I'm sorry, not Kari's eye, the watchmaker's eye. Sitting next to Romain. When Kari reached for a loop and looked something, we'll get to the goodies here in a sec, but Kari reached down with a loop and looked at it like this, and then he looked up at the watchmaker like that, and he went, and I swear a tear dropped it, because Kari was probably looking at the chain, which is just, goodbye, I'm getting out of here. Go ahead, Tim, do your magic.
Well, again, I'm see if I can. There's a chain right here. It's sometimes referred to as a bicycle chain, and it's made of, I believe it's a steel, but it's also got these ruby links in it, and that's part of the constant force mechanism. Constant force is basically, in simple lay terms, is a way to even out the tension or the strength of the mainspring. So you can imagine mainspring fully wound, it's tight, it's got a lot of power, and as it winds down towards the end of its wind, it gets less, and so the timekeeping element of a watch typically goes off as the mainspring unwinds, so it will perhaps run a little bit slower, and again at the beginning it will run a little faster. So watchmakers years ago in pocket watches figured out a mechanism to even out the power and it was using a chain and a conical fusee, which is a cone, kind of like a derailleur on a bicycle gear. So if you're going up bicycle hill, you want the big gear at the back. If you're going downhill, you want the small gear. So this evened out the power of the mainspring. So Roman's genius is he comes at watchmaking challenges, shall we use the word, to see if he can improve them from an engineering standpoint. And what he did with this is he still uses a chain, but instead of having a conical gear up here at 12, he has a cam, a snail cam. So the snail cam is wider and it's narrower at different parts on this cam. So that has the same effect as the cone. The benefit is that the chain is in the same plane, it's not angled, and so that reduces torque on the chain. And so that's what this watch is all about, is it has a constant force mechanism.
Is it chronometer? Is it?
It's not I don't think it's not submitted, but it certainly is as accurate as any.
It's as good as any.
Okay, so now I'll tell you the real story.
Okay, good.
So Tim calls me and he says, "You want this watch?" I said, "Okay, fine." But, it was not of inconsequential amount of money. So I said yes, ish. And then Roman came out to visit Tim, and on his way up to LA, Roman stopped at my house. I think I came down the night before, and we had a dinner, and talking about it and whatever. And I was there, but I wasn't totally there yet. So on his way up to LA, he was going to drive past my house. I invited him, "You want to stay over?" He said, "No, but I'll come over and we'll sit and we'll chat." And he said, "No, I'll come over for half an hour." So I came over, and about 3 hours later, he left. But he was sitting on my couch, and he showed me his data. He showed me the graphs of this watch.
Right.
And its chronometry and the amplitude. Now the amplitude, measuring the amplitude, you want the amplitude to be steady in its back and its forth, because if it's going up and down and it's irregular, it affects the timekeeping.
And Mitch means in all positions, moving the watch all around where gravity is beating on it.
So now Romano's not a watchmaker.
No, he's an engineer.
He's an engineer.
Right.
So he brought out the graph paper and the charts and all that. But the one that stuck with me was he said, "Okay, here's the amplitude."
Yeah.
And it was a curve. It was like, boom, right across, straight, a straight line. From the minute you started up, that first pump,
We're going to show that in a second.
Yeah, you've talked about that previously. The first pump to get the movement going to when it goes to sleep, when it's wound down, it is exactly even.
The rate is absolutely perfect.
Right, exactly. Now, I have not checked on how many second deviation per day, but I will tell you, it's pretty darn close if it's not right on the money.
And also, I would imagine if you really, and Tim will show us here, go ahead and give it a good whine while I'm talking about it. What Mitch is talking about is there's this pusher here around, I don't know, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So he's going to push on it, and it's going to essentially power the watch. This is going to wind the barrel up on the watch, and you can actually see it.
We can do it on the front and the back, but on the front you can see the
We got a little glare there. Maybe you need to move it just a little the other way. There you go. Yeah, perfect. And what Mitch is saying is Tim is doing this is that just one push and the watch will start running from a completely stopped position.
And we're not, so the cam system and the chain, it doesn't move a huge amount, but it absolutely moves. And then on the back, which is kind of cool as well, you've got a sapphire crystal on the barrel, which
you can see the actual.
You can actually see the mainspring on the inside.
And there you go. You can see
and you have a power reserve.
Like a strap.
And you got a power reserve indicator right here.
Yeah. What is the power reserve? I can't see it. If it's fully.
It's not fully.
No, when it's full, do you know the time?
No, I don't.
How about you, Tim? You know?
I'm going to guess it's like 45 hours.
Anywhere from 38 to 45.
Yeah. But what's amazing about this watch is, well, many things are amazing, but the engineering of this barrel, there's a sapphire crystal in the front, there's also a sapphire crystal around the side, so that it reduces wear.
Is it two different pieces of crystal?
Yeah.
Oh, good
Yeah.
God.
Also, the hand finishing on all this, these bevels. I mean,
Yeah.
this is all done by hand to the nth degree.
No.
It's as good as anybody's. The power reserve. You've also, right here, this bridge right here. I'm going this way here. It's mirror, black polished. The enamel. It's a two-piece enamel dial. The hands.
Arabic numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just, and then we do have a crown right here for changing the time. But it is an absolute work of, it's micromechanical engineering.
No doubt about it.
When you talk about finishing, the typical discussion is about interior angles. If you're having a bridge or whatever, you want to get
The bevels.
the beveling in the internal angle
The
of that.
corner where
Right.
the bevels are the hardest to
But-
get. And Tim knows you can use pretty much this shitty toothpick that I'm giving him to do that.
But, and what I was going to say,
Yeah.
you interrupted me.
Sorry.
But what I love about this watch is not the interior angles. Turn over. What I love is the bridge that's holding the escapement. I love how it comes up to this incredible angle.
Point right there.
That point,
Yeah.
to me, that is totally sexy.
Yeah.
And I know it's the interior angles and all that, but to me, for that watch, that is what grabs me.
Right. And you've got interior angles in here,
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
here, all the way over here. There's interior angles on this piece right here, obviously down here.
Very difficult.
Yeah, it's an absolute remarkable piece.
Tim, is that black mirror, that bridge extending over to is that piece that's holding
The escapement?
the escapement bridge? No, up at
This right here?
Yeah. Is that
This
black
no.
polish?
No, this is grained, but there's black polish right there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
sorry,
about.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing that holding to your point, Mitch, you're talking about all those angles on the inside of that little bridge right
Yeah.
there. That's the bitch.
Right,
Yeah.
but for me,
Yeah.
it's the tip of that bridge.
Oh, going up to 3.
Yeah, yeah.
This guy right here.
Exactly right.
I got you. Who's doing that work for him, Tim? Do you know? Is it
It's in-house.
They do it. There's a couple of
like
ladies
a
in house.
third generation artisan, probably?
I visited. There's two ladies in the finishing department. That's
Yeah.
all they do is they sit there with a Genshin wood, which
And
is
they
a
do
local-
this graining here and
Yeah.
Of all his watch, I think all of his watches are
Yeah.
remarkable.
No doubt.
But this, to me, is
This is just a remarkable watch,
Right.
period.
Mhm.
I think. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought this because I
Yeah.
find this to be, in the watchmaking world. There's a couple others that you brought that I just think guys like this are at the top of their game. They are
Exactly.
really at
Exactly.
the top of their game.
And when this watch came out, nobody had seen anything like this because there was nothing that existed like this, and it took a little while for for people to catch on. Mitch is a little bit on the bleeding edge of this stuff because he loves it and spends a lot of time, looking at watches and
Yeah.
touching watches, and so he was certainly more open to it because I would posit that this watch today being released, Roman would do it in a bigger quantity probably, and there would be a line round the block trying to get that watch because now people understand this watch. And the last series
Well, they're
of-
gone, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
Logical
it.
One's done.
they're done.
Yeah,
They're done.
they're done.
He came out in different metals,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
he
yeah.
announced last year that it was done.
No, it was
2 years ago?
at least 2 years ago.
And he cranked out a fair amount in different metals, which was pretty impressive. We had lunch with him in Beverly Hills, and he had 4 or 5, maybe even 6 different.
You did white
Metal
gold,
versions.
yellow gold, titanium.
There was like a
black
black
titanium.
The black titanium one I
Yeah.
found to be really fascinating.
No, they're cool. The one thing that people don't know about the titanium versus the precious metal is that the amount of hand finishing is reduced on the titanium. It's one of the reasons why they're considerably cheaper. So the tune
Oh, interesting.
yeah. So the finishing on the bridge work, the anglage is not the same. On
Is
the,
it
on the
meant to
movement.
be more raw or?
It's partly, and it's also to reduce the price,
Oh, okay.
which is why the titanium ones were, let's say, 100 grand versus these that were 140, let's say, towards the end.
Well, you can feel the heft in this one.
Platinum.
It's platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the size is really quite good. God, let me just. Well, listen, guys. We're going to take a little break because some of us might have to use the loo.
Speak for yourself, but
Fair
enough.
I'm
We'll be back.
We're going to be right back. No, come back. We're going to be right back.